Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. But today, we're going to be looking at a core mechanic of D&D itself. Specifically, we're going to be having a look at a subclass of the monk, the Way of the Four Elements. This subclass is a little notorious amongst D&D players, and I'm going to sit here and explain why. The Way of the Four Elements monk gets all the normal things monks get. Their ki, their flurry of blows, their step of the wind, their stunning strikes. They get a lot of cool abilities that are core to the monk class. But we're not here to talk about those abilities. We're here to talk about one ability. The only ability that the Way of the Four Elements monk gets. The Disciple of the Elements and the Elemental Disciplines. This is how this works. A Way of the Four Elements monk gets to learn an elemental discipline. The elemental discipline basically functions like a spell. They will use ki points, their energy, which they would use for their other monk abilities, to cast a spell. Now, these spells are somewhat unique. They are elemental in nature. Every monk gains the elemental attunement power, where they effectively get prestidigitation as an ability. They can create sensory effects, lights, candles, or campfires, chill or warm non-living materials, or even shape things like earth or fire or water into a 1-foot cube shape. So, kind of like a slightly better prestidigitation. And they can use that for free, which is kind of nice. And then they get to pick one elemental discipline at level 3 when they get this subclass. This can be stuff like the Fang of the Fire Snake, which is a 10-foot long addition to their melee strikes, where they will spend a ki point and do extra fire damage. Okay, cool. There's the Fists of Unbroken Air, which allows them to use 2 ki points to use an air attack. There's Water Whip, which allows them to use 2 ki points to use water to attack. At higher levels, like 6th level, for example, they can use the North Wind, the Clench of the North Wind, which gives them the ability to use 3 ki points to cast Hold Person. Or they could, at 11th level, get Flames of the Phoenix, which allows them to use 4 ki points to cast Fireball. Can you see where this is going? The idea is that you get a very limited spell list. Anything from Hold Person, Shatter, Fireball, Cone of Cold, the 4 elements. You've got Burning Hands, Wall of Stone, even Fly is in here. Stuff that you could imagine air elementals, earth elementals, fire and water elementals all doing. The monks can do them by spending a ridiculous amount of ki points. Let's imagine for a moment you're a Way of the Four Elements monk who's focused on fire. You've learned Elemental Attunement and Fangs of the Fire Snake. You're 5th level, and you want to use your Fang of the Fire Snake ability to do extra fire damage. Okay, cool. Then do that. You'll spend a ki point every turn you do it. You will get the extra 1d10 fire damage, but you could have just used that ki point to use Flurry of Blows, the normal thing the monk can do. Let's say that you then reach level 11, and you want to use 4 ki points to cast Fireball. Fireball's great in very specific crowd-dealing situations. 4 ki points, though? You can do that twice. Period. And then you run out. Because you've used 8 ki points of the 11 you have, and you can't cast Fireball anymore. I mean, you get your ki points back on a short rest, so there's that. But you only get to use them a couple times. And this is it. This is the only thing that the Way of the Four Elements monk gets. And they only get a few of them. They get their Elemental Attunement, their special prestidigitation, and then they get one other discipline at level 3, and then another one at 6, 11, and 17. So that's 4. They are a monk who uses ki points, inefficiently, I might add, in order to cast 4 attacks, 4 spells by 17th level. Let me tell you something. There are feats in this game that make this subclass completely obsolete. You want to do an extra 1d10 of fire damage without casting a key point? Take Magic Initiate, learn Firebolt. Then you can cast it 120 feet instead of an extra 10. You want to use a first level spell like Burning Hands, then... Or is Burning Hands a second level spell? I'm saying Magic Initiate is a powerful feat. Then you've got Fey Touched and Shadow Touched from Tasha's. Those are feats that give you a second level spell, as well as another first one of your choice. If you want to use magic and you're not a spellcaster, then lean into the feats that give you magic. Hell, be a ritual caster. There are so many ways to gain magic. You could even get magic items that give you this stuff. But this subclass gives you a couple spells that you use for inefficient prices and that stop you from doing your other monk things. Flurry of Blows and Stunning Strike are classic monk moves, and using your key on that is a better spent of your resources than blowing them on these powers. They're not useless, okay? Way of the Four Elements monks can do some cool things. Throwing fireballs is cool. Going and flying is cool. Using powers like Burning Hands, Hold Person, these are good things. I'm not trying to say they aren't. I'm just saying that this subclass has a reputation because no one wants to play it like this. If they were smart, they would have just built a monk subclass that, like the Arcane Trickster or the Eldritch Knight, got a limited level spell slots and use those, and then their key points was something else was their normal stuff. They shouldn't be doubling down on this. Or maybe even give them extra key points when they choose this so they can use more powers, or limit the prices, something. This subclass I have given a 3 out of 10, because the only power it gets is a 3 out of 10. Not the most useless thing around, but it's not great. It's really not. You'd be better off at taking this. If you have to play a Way of the Four Elements monk, just ignore your subclass. Use your elemental attunement when you have to use prestidigitation. Occasionally throw out a Fang of the Fire Snake or some sort of water whip. And other than that, just do your normal monk stuff. 3 out of 10. Don't play a Way of the Four Elements monk unless you're going to homebrew it to be something better. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.